Ladies and gentlemen, for the smooth last part of this session, where we should do at least a little bit of discussion, I would like to maybe switch between Slovak and English in order to do it quite fast. There were many things said. A lot of technologies were mentioned. My question, first one would be, if you summarize now, and if you would have to mention one technology that will have probably the biggest impact on our region, on our territory, I mean Visegrad countries, in the future. You know about our citizens, about our cultures and everything. What do you think? What would be the technology that would have probably the biggest impact on our lives? Just maybe mention. I start from the right.
Artificial intelligence, definitely artificial intelligence.
Artificial intelligence. Mm-hmm. Yes.
And also
Ms.
automation of processes.
Yes. Ms. Buk?
I hesitate because between artificial intelligence and 5G as well. So I'm not sure.
Okay. Okay, you can vote for two. Yes, Mr. Vágujhelyi?
As artificial intelligence is occupied, I would say that decentralized trust and the blockchain systems, there will be a new way of cooperation between nations and companies and non-governmental initiatives on the decentralized platforms of the blockchain. I'm sure it will have a major effect on this technology on the society.
Thank you.
Well, clearly for both. G5, which is the prerequisite for artificial intelligence, it's a bit like if you ask a computer user whether he prefers Word or Windows. So I think in this logic, G5 and artificial intelligence.
Okay. Radko?
Thank you and good morning. I think that I can fully subscribe to my colleagues around the table that AI, artificial intelligence and infrastructure with the form of 5G, of course, is the only technology which will have a complete change in the paradigm in the industry. Therefore, it is important just to look on it on the social impacts and labor force requalifications, of course, cybersec within the context, how to protect citizens and businesses.
Yes, thank you. By the way, yesterday there was a shot on a TV about China where they started to pay by the QR code. And I don't know if you know, but this is now overtaking all other ways of payments. And maybe, so you can pay everywhere just generating and paying by the QR code. And yeah. Okay, yes, artificial intelligence. Now the question is how to tackle it from the organization point of view. The role of the government really changed rapidly in the last year. And you all here are representatives of the government. We switched from the role like forcing the technologies, implementing the projects, more to the protector of the environment or to the setter of the environment. How do you think that the governments will change to embrace it? For example, last year, the Ministry for Artificial Intelligence was established in United Arab Emirates. Maybe you know or not. But is there a way to establish new ministries for this? But what the government should do? Some voluntary to start? Okay.
Ministry of Digital Affairs has been established in Poland 3 years ago, so we've already have it. But I truly believe, and I insist on that, we should join our forces. Of course, within the V4 group. So government should cooperate, and I think that this is exactly what we should do. Yeah.
Radko, you wanted?
Thank you, Lucia. I think that we all live in the European Union, which is a unique project which brought us already peace and, of course, an economic stability. And of course, we are deregulating, we are killing red tape and moving out barriers within the trade in between us. But we are not yet there. We are working on it. However, the role of a public institution as regards emerging technologies should be, of course, maybe twofold. The first is, of course, to regulate or deregulate, but in a better regulation sense, of course, just to make emphasis and impetus only there where it makes sense. So this is, I think, beneficial for our economies. And the second Second is, of course, to coordinate, to evangelize, just to steer the competition, that everybody in the end is completely happy. And having said that, we have to, of course, promote ethical standards. We have to promote human rights, fundamental rights, because these are mostly endangered or jeopardized by the rise of machines, of robots. Thanks.
Well, I think we have to create a framework which is wide enough, because let's face the situation. Artificial intelligence is already everywhere and will be even omnipresent more. So to create a ministry of omnipresence is a bit difficult, I would say. But I would just like to share with you two figures in this respect. In next decade, as many as 50% of work tasks will be subject to automation. And the other, to join your issue about control, yes, it will be quite dramatic development, because there is an iron rule among specialists, which is called Moore's law. The engines, the machines, just are overdoing the learning capacity of human learning capacities. Every 18 months, the speed and the storage is doubling. We are not able to cope with this. But the problem is that we have, let's say, something which the machines don't have, or we should have something: morale and common sense. And this is the problem, that we need a control of this process. We have to step on the top of it. That's, I think, the issue, and that's why we need a governance which is injecting this. Thank you.
I agree what was said, and I would add only open data. And I mean that open data will change a lot. So I mean that everything will, we need to build governments as a platform. So it means that we will give data, and a new economy can be established according to the data. So I mean, this is also very important.
So artificial intelligence can bring injustice for the society, and it can emphasize the difference between people, because they are learning, these methods are learning the differences. And it needs some regulations, but any national level regulation is useless on this level, because there is a single market and there are no locations sometimes for these services. So I think this is where the V4 government has to cooperate very much in Brussels to create regulations that fits to our needs in the region.
Thank you very much. My comment also was because going to the setting of the environment, which is the responsibility of the government. So far, it was more about the security, about the economy, about the financial impacts, etc. But with coming artificial intelligence, what you all mentioned, that the borders are now more about the dependency of a human being on the technology. So what we are going on, what we are on the way, is that what will be the extent to which we allow some machine to take decisions instead of us, which is really very, very strong shift. So do you think, is this the area where some common approach could be done? Because this is also already tackling the cultural issues. Is this more which nation and which country is willing more to go this? If somebody would like to comment on this? Hmm?
It was already said about the ethics, I guess. I think there has to be. I don't know whether there will be a common sense and a common approach for the artificial intelligence, because I cannot imagine that the computer is going to tell me that according to the prediction I'm going to die in 5 days. Yeah, because 95% of people died in 5 days. So with my disease, of course. So I don't think there will be, but we have to think a lot about the ethics behind the artificial, what can be said, what cannot be, but definitely artificial is going to be like assistant. We're already thinking about how to add chatbots, all those virtual assistants which can talk about. I've been to Portugal last weekend on Web Summit, and there were 2 robots on the stage, and the guy for hands-on robotics, he was talking to them for 20 minutes. and the robots were talking to each other. So it was really impressive. I'm a bit scared of what is going on.
Yes, thank you very much, Ms. Buk.
I'm not sure if it's possible to set borders right now, but we should be smart about it, because new technologies are there is no value in itself. You know, new technologies are important when they serve a humanity as a whole, not only a part of it. So we should verify at every step what's going on and be very cautious about it.
Yes, okay.
I think the big challenge is how to handle the automatic decision systems. So how to handle their decisions on ethical and legal way. I'm sure that only useful systems will be initiated on the market, because the rest will be dropped by people, so it will be not sustainable. But it's not the role of the market to build the ethical background and most importantly the legal background behind them. So I'm sure that there must be a strong discussion between the users, the market, and the regulatory bodies.
Thank you very much. The last comment, Ms. Buriánek.
Well, I fully share it. I mean, the formal challenge is that machines follow algorithm, and they have not those issues which are necessary to add from the human side. Maybe by way of illustration, and this is a bit science fiction, but I will let follow a very concrete danger which was nearly leading to the end of our world. The ones who want to extrapolate on this are invited to read the book of Stephen Clark, Hell. It describes a computer which has the task to improve artificial intelligence in the world. And suddenly the computer comes to the conclusion that the problem in the world is the human being. And he starts to fight the human being. So that's the higher logic of the computer. So, and then a struggle comes into place. I will end with quite a dramatic exercise which is down to earth. 1983, we had nearly a third world war because the artificial intelligence in the alert system has understood that there is an attack coming from USA. Only a human control, a Russian official said, no, it can't be true. He saw 20 missiles coming from USA to the Soviet Union. He said, no, I'm not pushing the button. The artificial intelligence said to him, you need to push the button.
Yeah, the Terminator is coming, definitely. Last comment, very short one. Okay, so one word, Vladimír, and last word, Repkan. We have to. I'm sorry, but we have to
I don't know whether you remember the movie I, Robot with Will Smith, and there was at the beginning of the movie there was a car accident, and the whole movie he was very pissed on the robot because he decided that he has a better chance to survive the accident, so he saved him instead of the little child. So he was very pissed off. So I think this is that we are going to deal with it very soon.
Thank you, Radko.
Sorry, this topic is quite a challenge. It's incredible, of course. I have to compliment many things, but I know that it's a time shortage, so I will just say one thing. It is that it's a question. Can you imagine that you would live in a world where your government do monitor yourself on every and each step you make, and there are 200 million cameras around you watching your steps, and on the top of that, that you're given a personal social credit number according to the way you behave, whether you are a good citizen or not, and your family, your all private and career or professional life will be fully affected by your moves. Can you imagine it? So, quis custodiet custodes? Who will guard the guards in the end?
So, thank you very much. maybe we would like to spend more on this discussion, but even with this, I'm very thankful to our guests for the participants. They will have to go now for the press briefing, and all of you, I would like to invite for the coffee. But once more, please allow me to thank one more Miss Wanda Buk from Poland, Vladimír Dzurilla from Czech Republic, Mr. Ferenc Vágujhelyi from the Hungary, Jiří Buriánek from the European Union, and Radko Repa from Slovakia. Tak, dámy a páni, ďakujem pekne za vašu pozornosť. Pozývam vás na kávičku a našich speakerov na briefing.